But they've stopped these teen models or so-called Langmos to go in there.
No, I don't think so. I mean, teen models have their full right of publishing their own books.
But they've stopped them from going there to display their bodies and so on.
Well, yes, I mean, there's a reason for that, because if the teen models want to display their bodies, they can choose a rather different venue, right? But book fair is a book fair for the families, and the children.
But the teen models have all these photo albums of themselves, yes, which are sexually enticing.
Well, yes, I mean, there's no point for them to do that, at a book fair, because unless they're thinking of working at a nightclub or some massage parlors as their second career.
Have those books been disallowed at the book fair now? Those
Not really, no. I think Hong Kong is a place of free publication, right? I think you can publish whatever you like, even the Falun Gong political
Spoken
propaganda
like a true
material.
Liberal. But you're gonna moderate some talks, and
it's
and
a social service.
You've invited some well-known authors.
I've been reading some books written by authors in English-speaking world who are coming to Hong Kong to promote their books.
Who are the people coming? Last year you had some well-known names, right?
Oh yes.
Remind me who they were last year.
At the invitation of
David Tang.
David Tang, right? He has the honor of claiming himself good friends to a few celebrities like Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry, right?
Like Stephen Fry and Frederick Forsyth.
Yes, they came.
Right, big celebrities, big names in the Western literary circle.
And
this year, I think A. Gill, this British columnist, is coming to town. And look at the face. Look at the face. For a good writer, your face shows some character. Rebellious.
You can
cynical.
tell from his looks that he's a good writer.
You can tell, right?
Okay.
Tongue-in-cheek
I can
man.
tell from your face that you're a good writer.
Well, thank you for the compliment. And there's this woman sinologist,
Julia Lovell.
Julia Lovell, who's coming to town to promote the Opium
About the
War.
Opium War in China.
Now,
right?
this is a very interesting book because it provides a rather different perspective, looking at as such an important historical episode.
Sure.
That no Chinese can turn their head away from. So this is called the Opium War, and it blames partly the Chinese
for the Opium War.
Well, the Chinese habit of taking opium. And taking opium was indeed a fashion, not only in China but in Europe in the 19th century. So,
sorry, go on.
So, I mean, by reading this book, I think it could help some of the most zealous nationalists to get rid of the chip on the shoulder, perhaps.
You mean the nationalists on mainland China?
Well, in Hong Kong too.
Blaming the West for the opium habit.
Yes, solely. Because smoking opium was a culture in China.
You're saying
I'm not saying that.
It's to blame too, because
Julia Lovell was saying that.
All right.
Well, with her careful research on historical archives and documents. Right?
That the Chinese are also to blame because they have a habit of taking opium.
And this book.
If there's no market, you can't sell it.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
That's right. Yes. I mean, look, there's a huge market of 1.3 billion people, say, for karaoke. And would you blame the Japanese for exporting karaoke equipment, right? Like laser disc and that sort of things.
No, of course not.
Because what the Chinese spend, right? Loads of hours in the karaoke every year. I mean, would that be tantamount to some sort of spiritual opium? I would say yes. Or what about tobacco?
Karaoke is spiritual opium?
Yes.
Explain
of course.
that to me. I don't
have you not been to a karaoke bar?
I have, but that's
China?
Not spiritual opium.
Have you not imprisoned yourself?
It's not addictive.
Well, it is, of course. And nowadays you have to you negotiate any business contracts with your Chinese proposals. You can't sign your contracts without, say, a couple of dozens of hours well spent
in a karaoke bar.
In a karaoke bar. It's not just singing.
It used to be dinner and Mao Tai.
Yes, it's accompanied with some beautiful girls, right? And and consumption of alcohols, right? Would you consider that as an opium? I would. Right, so
that's a very different spin, but go ahead.
This book opens in a very British literary way, with a picture, right? So it's through the...
These are people who are smoking opium and they're all doped up, right?
They're all doped, right. Consider late imperial photograph of Chinese opium smokers in one typical shot shot two men reclined on the coach and enveloped in long padded jacquard silk gowns. Now, with full visual details of these two men, you know, who are enjoying their
who will
opium
buy these books?
in the pictures.
I
would.
You would, but I believe
would.
the majority of Hong Kong
Why
Chinese
not?
wouldn't.
Why not? Because it's good pleasure.
But number
it's
one,
a way of recognizing. It provides an alternative mirror.
you want them to
in
buy
which
it,
you
but
look
are
at
they
yourself.
interested?
Well,
You
I
will
hope
have
they are.
expatriates buying this,
Well,
but
no, I
very
hope-
few local Chinese would buy English
Why not?
books. They'll
Well,
buy Chinese
The
books.
government is trying to promote what they call national education. The government is promoting English language teaching. The
Right.
government is what many parents want to send their kids to aristocratic boarding schools in Britain. So, equipped with enough literary and cultural reading
But
is
the average person living in Mongkok or Shamship or Yuen Long is not going to go and buy this book.
Well, I think why cannot be?
They'll buy the
Why
tea
can't
model
they
album.
be subsidized by the government?
You want the
right,
government
in
to
their English reading?
subsidize
Why not? Right, 6,000
buying of
cash,
books?
6,000 cash to be handed out to every citizen. Right, the government is flooded with cash, right, in the reserve, and this money, some of the money can be more properly.
So you're saying the
handled.
government should give out book vouchers to
Yeah,
families
something like that.
to
yes.
buy books.
English books.
Okay, now so
To make Hong Kong a real international city, a so-called Asia's world city.
the English language in Hong Kong, you pointed out people should buy English books, but you and I, Chip, know that English standards have deteriorated in Hong Kong.
Well,
How do you solve that?
Because Hong Kong has long been designed as a money-making city. So English teaching or English learning in Hong Kong has been modeled in the way that you use the language to sign contracts, to write memos between government officials, and just to communicate on prices and leases, you know, on things like what under the table, right, license, you know, the kind of amount or things like that, right?
Yeah.
So very few people in Hong Kong, even in the colonial days, were used to reading literature, right? So reading English literature, say, during the colonial years, was rather a profession for the elite.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there just for a moment. Back soon, don't go away.